switching from topical minoxidil to oral minoxidil. Now this is something I did myself over 2 years ago. So initially I was taking topical minoxidil from February 2018 to November 2021. So over 3.5 years. For those who don't know, topical minoxidil essentially stimulates blood flow in the areas where it's applied. Commonly this would be the vertex, e.g. the crown of the scalp. It could also be the corners of the scalp. And some people even apply it to their facial hair as well, for areas where they don't grow strong facial hair or dense facial hair. And essentially the main product that it's known or packaged as is Regain, and this could be via foam, which as time has gone on since the initial product was created has become a lot more popular, primarily because the delivery agent is a foam and not the propylene glycol, which was used in the initial Regain product, which was the liquid form of Regain or minoxidil, and that because of the propylene glycol being the delivery agent caused a lot of irritation on a lot of scalps that it was applied to. Now, so they developed the foam as an alternative, which is what I used. I would never use the liquid Regain, just because of the time it takes, the fact that you apply it to your scalp, it's going to run down, it's going to cause a complete mess. How do you know that liquid's even soaking into the scalp as well? If you're going to go topical minoxidil, go with the foam. Trust me, much better user experience and a slightly better result based on the literature. Now, obviously if you're experiencing hair loss and you want to do something about it, which I would recommend, because here, whether we like to acknowledge it or not, our appearance and how we look heavily influences how people act around us, how people speak about us, how people speak to us, and how people treat us. So for 99% of people, you're going to look better with hair than without hair. It really is that simple. So I would recommend doing pretty much whatever you can from a scientific point of view, from a proven point of view, to maintain your hair and keep it strong. Now, I've been on hair products since February 2018, and one of the products I've been using is minoxidil. So as time went on in that 2021 year, obviously we were all locked down by COVID, blah, blah, blah. You start researching on the internet, various things. And I started seeing more and more content and literature regarding oral minoxidil. Now, I'd say the forefront of this sort of oral minoxidil movement was Robert Sinclair, who's an Australian doctor who's heavily educated and has investigated a lot of hair loss related topics and medications and modalities of treatment. So, bit of background, oral minoxidil was initially used as a blood pressure medication, and a medication which would lower the blood pressure of patients who had high blood pressures essentially. Now the dosages involved were 40 milligrams up, whereas for hair, the commonly used dosages are 2.5, 5 milligrams, and at the height of the dosage spectrum would be 10 milligrams. I personally, so I was learning more about oral minoxidil. I found the foam. It took me a while to apply, and when you applied it, if you'd apply it in the morning, you'd apply it in your temples, your scalp, and it would make your hair look even thinner and greasier. And if you're trying to come up with like a style that's presentable, whatever you're going for, or even if you're not trying to style your hair, that's up to you, depends on the demands of your day. It doesn't help with the appearance of your hair and the time it takes. So once I found out about oral minoxidil, I did my due diligence and I realized this is something I wanted to pursue. And long story short, I got hold of some oral minoxidil November 2021. Now, being a human being, I'm sure you can relate to, when you're in a routine for years and years and years, and you have to change it, it can induce anxiety. And also, with the topical minoxidil, you're applying it to specific areas. You're not applying it all throughout the scalp. So there's going to be areas of your scalp which might have slightly thin hair, which you haven't applied the topical minoxidil to specifically, which you're likely going to shed when you change to oral minoxidil, which has a full body effect. Now with oral minoxidil, you're also going to have likely slightly more facial hair growth, which could be a good thing or a bad thing depending on how you view it. And you will have slightly more hair on your arms and your fingers, but nothing to the werewolf syndrome that people hypothesize is going to happen when you take oral minoxidil. 99.9% of people, that's not going to happen to. So discount that as a realistic outcome for taking oral minoxidil. And also, there is a bit of communication and chatter around the health benefits or the health, potentially the detrimental effects of taking oral minoxidil. Now, based on the literature, taking it at low dosages such as 2.5 to 5 milligrams has, for 99.9% of people, very to no negative side effects on the heart rhythm, on blood pressure, on anything like that. So I have experienced no side effects of oral minoxidil. I don't know anyone who's experienced side effects of oral minoxidil. I spoke to several prominent Australian and New Zealand doctors who specialise in hair treatment and hair-related matters. They don't know anyone who has experienced negative side effects on oral minoxidil. And if you're young and healthy, if you're not obese or you're not above 60, then those background factors mean the likelihood of you having any negative side effects from oral minoxidil are extremely low. Regardless, you're still going to experience anxiety for the reasons I mentioned. So what I did, because hair cycles happen 4 times a year, they happen on 3-month periods. That means that when you start taking a treatment that actually scientifically works, so I'm not talking about any of those, hair treatments which you see advertised in newspapers or TVs, which have no literature behind the treatment, and essentially it's just a way to separate you from your money, from your hard-earned money. It's going to take 3 months for it to work. And with medications like finasteride or Propecia, as it's commonly known, and minoxidil, you're not going to see the heightened or the top effect in terms of positive impact from the treatment until 1 to 2 years pass. So at 3 months, you're going to see a bit of an effect, and that's just going to compound, get to a point 2 years down the line. That's as good as you're going to get. So when I took it, I was patient. Did I experience a shed? 100% I experienced a shed. That's only natural. As I said, some areas would not have been specifically having topical minoxidil applied to it. So those areas are going to thin, thinner hairs are going to thin. But what grows back after 3 months? What grows back at 6 months? Healthier, thicker, stronger hairs. And what do we want? What is deemed important by society and also can be deemed important to us? Because as people, males and females, which can all take oral minoxidil, in fact, I believe, because finasteride is very rarely prescribed for females based on pregnancy risks, etc. Oral minoxidil is very commonly applied to females. We're allowed, and it's important, to look our best. So we're allowed to make the decisions which help us look our best. And when oral minoxidil is introduced to the mix, that's going to help you look your best. So I just noted throughout my scalp, now I've been down. I just noted the thickness of the hairs. I do hope you can see that. If you can't, I sincerely apologize. But the thickness of the hairs increased, the volume increased, the dexterity when I pulled a hair, it was more snappy. It wasn't wispy. It had more pull to it. It was just sharper. It was thicker. So it's just been a very beneficial outcome for me. And you're going to have treatments like finasteride, Propecia as it's commonly known, which helps stabilize hair loss. But I do feel like that treatments like oral minoxidil really allow hairs to essentially come back from the brink and not only not even stabilize, because that's more the dihydrotestosterone impact when you have finasteride that mitigates that. That's fine. Oral minoxidil really stimulates hair growth. So I would definitely recommend doing it. You just have to know, you just have to be prepared for the mental anguish you may experience in that first 3 months, first 6 months. But once you get through that, you're away laughing. And at the end of the day, I believe that anything worth having requires sacrifice, and this would just be another example of the shedding phase you're going to go through when you switch to oral minoxidil, whether it be from topical minoxidil or just start taking oral minoxidil outright. If you have any questions on these matters, on hair loss matters as a whole, just flick me a message. I'll be happy to help out, share my experience that can help others, hopefully get the best outcomes for themselves. I know how important hair is and appearance is, so I'm really happy to help you along that journey. If you want to reach me, you can link me on Instagram, Brewster563, all lowercase, BREWSTER 563. That's probably the best place to reach me, and I'll put the Instagram handle in the description box. And hey, I look forward to hearing from you, and I'll be producing further content to help you along the journey. Thank you.